The Kia EV9 is the most expensive Kia in the whole world, and in India it costs 1.3 crore rupees. And I bet this was your reaction. Well, it was mine too. I mean, sensibly, who the hell would buy a Kia that costs more than a Mercedes EQS SUV? Maybe that is why they haven't sold many in India, and also maybe that is why Kia nearly took 6.5 months to get us a car to actually touch, feel and drive. You know, frankly, when I got the call to come and drive this car, I was wondering, is it even worth it? Why would I go and drive something that nobody has even bought or nobody even wants to really buy? But then I said, nah, that's not my job. I need to give it a second chance.
Will you help us when we get the call?
So here is what I like. A middle row that's stupid comfortable and also has recline feature, and everything, by the way, is electric. Huge amounts of space even with the third row up. A hidden away storage drawer. A plug to plug in your fridge. And another fridge right here for your drinks. Not one, not two, but 3 screens. 1, 2 and 3. A sunroof for the front and a big panoramic sunroof for the rear. And a really comfy, squishy headrest. But it's just a little too far up front. And here is what I did not like. These fiddly capacitive buttons and cheapy plastics all over the bottom half. More positives than negatives. And yes, even though this and the EQS both have 7 seats, remember that is actually a lot smaller on the inside. Like a lot smaller. So maybe it would redeem itself here on the outside. It does. If road presence is your thing, this has it. It's big, it's full size, it's enough to make every Fortuner and Thar Rocks owner think 100 times before they even attempt to bully you on the road. But it has a few things that I really like about car design, like box fenders, for example. I'm a huge fan of box fenders. It reminds me of the greatest era of, well, second greatest era of car design, the 90s and the 80s. I love this sort of stuff. And of course, you know how much I like attention to detail. Like these little elements in the grille, they light up and they're quite sweet. Although I assume they would be very, very expensive to replace if something were to ever happen to them. I have said this before and I'm saying this again. Yes, I know Kia is going for some sort of cyberpunk theme here, maybe inspired by certain Elon. But there is no way that I can get behind these wheels. There might be people who like them, as design is often subjective. But frankly, the whole 3-spoke and 4-spoke thing in almost every wheel just doesn't work for me. Also, by the way, India only gets the GT line, not the standard line, which means you get all these nicer little bumpers and nicer vents. By the way, these vents close and open. But the international spec gets 21-inch wheels and India gets 20-inch wheels, and maybe that's not such a bad thing. Not that the 21-inch wheels are any better to look at anyways. You know, I think this car is just the right size for somebody who's looking to spend this sort of money but still wants to skate under the radar. And that's of course if you don't have brand snobbery that's ingrained deep into your loins. Because if this was badged, say, a Mercedes or a Range Rover or a BMW or an Audi or a Lexus, we would all be getting really, really excited, and some people, some journalists, would probably have some sort of movement happening in certain parts of their body. Another issue we see is the fact that for exactly 10 times less money, you can have a car that looks almost exactly the same, sort of, albeit a lot smaller. But then that's always going to be the drawback of using a family look. But listen, it does have redeeming features. And maybe it also can redeem itself even more by the way it drives. Okay, now here's the thing. When you get into an EV9 as compared to, say, a BMW iX, which has some really glitzy interiors, this is actually very, very normal. Now, that might be a problem because you are spending a lot of money, but in terms of the way it drives, it sort of redeems itself because it is also extremely, extremely comfortable. Even on those 20-inch wheels and slightly lower profile tires, it's actually really, really smooth, really absorbing the bumps very well. And in general, it feels typically like a Kia. It's sort of stiff at lower speed, but when you get going, it settles down like a dream. And that's exactly what people want, right? There are two types of people that will use this car. One, the really rich folk who's going to take it to their second house outside the city, but they want an EV because it's the cool thing to do and it's the right thing to do in their circles. And of course, one, also the very, very rich person who's probably transporting his son or daughter or child, let's be neutral there, to school, and then want something that is not seen as a spoiled brat image. It doesn't matter though, you have to be extremely rich to buy one of these. So it also probably doesn't matter what it does behind the wheel because you're probably not going to drive it, which is exactly the point now where I can make and say I put it into sport mode and doing a full bore launch, because even though nobody's actually going to drive it like this, it does 0 to 100 in under 6 seconds. And then we'll slow down again because exactly what I said, right? Nobody's going to drive it this way. Everybody's going to sit in the back comfortably with those seats nicely sort of laid out and enjoy the way this car drives in terms of its comfort. That doesn't mean I don't do another acceleration run. Now, considering the fact that we have done 2 acceleration runs now, hard, full pedal to the metal, I can tell you it doesn't feel as quick as some of its similarly priced German rivals. Nobody cares at all. None. So there you go then. The Kia EV9 is notoriously expensive. It's not got any badge value in that segment, but it does have a certain segment that it appeals to. Old school money. People from South Mumbai, from the Lutyens part of Delhi, from very, very selective neighborhoods in Bengaluru, in Chennai, Coimbatore, and a couple of other cities. People who buy the Mercedes E-Class every single time there's a new or updated one. People who bought the Honda CR-V relentlessly. People who buy the Camry. Either way, you and I, or most people who see this, aren't really going to be able to afford one. So it doesn't make any real sense giving you a real verdict. But if you do afford one, or if you can afford one, and if you are considering one of these, I admire you. Because you've discarded the fact that you need badges to fit in and you love a car for what it does. Car things. There we go then, signing off from PowerDrift. I know it's a quick review, it's a tight one, small one, but this is the Kia EV9 and we've spent about 6 hours at the Kia test facility driving it. Signing off for now. See you guys in the comments. And yes, I know it's stupidly expensive and costs as much as a house, so don't put that comment, okay? See you guys.